Is God a male or female? I'm asking you.
What's the question
Is
again?
God a male or female?
God is both and more.
Can you elaborate a little bit more? How can you be both? Because, I mean, last time I checked, I have
Mm-hmm.
a male part.
Right.
I don't have a female part. I don't have both.
Mm-hmm.
So how can God be male and female?
What is the basis of this male or masculine or feminine? What is the basis of it, of this femininity? What is the basis, the essence of it? It's energy. Feminine energy, masculine energy, right? So the basis of it is energy. But this masculine and feminine is not just in man and woman per se, it's all throughout the universe. Positive and negative. These alternating forces that interact and are codependent on one another for this experience. So in order for this experience to take place, these energies must exist. But since the essence of them, the substance of them is energy, then what is God that we mentioned? Energy. So God cannot be male and not be female. God cannot be female because there's a necessity for both energy to coexist.
So is it fair to say that, we shouldn't focus if he's male or female? Because the way I understand it, he's energy.
There's a system and an organization and a structure to male, female, family, but it doesn't mean that the masculine is superior to the feminine. It is assumed and believed that masculine is superior to feminine because of the culture or the mindset that human beings have been operating in for thousands of years. This dominant masculine perception is dominant in our culture, but that's an intellectual perception. It's not a universal truth. In universal truth, which one is more important, masculine and feminine, male or female energy?
Can't do anything
Can't
without
do anything without either one of
you
them.
just
So which
can't.
one is more important?
You can't.
But in our conscious human experience, we place value one over the other, but we place value on a lot of things over other things. There is a human reality and there's a universal reality. Universal reality simply means it is the ultimate reality. Human reality means it's our reality according to our evolved perception. Perception or awareness at this state of our evolution is not ultimate. We don't perceive the ultimate reality in this particular state of our development. So we see things in part, and then we understand or we derive assumptions and belief based on our limited perception. That's why faith is so important in the Bible, because the essence of what faith really says is there's something, some power, some entity that's beyond your human intellect. And that's where you place your faith. That's where you place your energy. That's where you place your trust. But then the reason the intellect says, I need to know what point A is. I need to know what point B is. I need to know what this is, what that is, right? So the intellect oftentimes supersedes the mind of faith. You cannot serve God without faith, meaning that you have to have a willingness to surrender your intellect and trust that what you don't intellectually perceive or understand. That's really what faith
Or
is.
able to see.
Or able to see.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't see with the eyes anyway, you see with your perception. That's what faith is really saying. Faith is not that difficult to understand because we use faith every single day. You say, well, I need faith. We have faith. God has given every person a measure of faith. When you get on an airplane, that's faith. When you go through an intersection and the light is green, that's faith. You don't get to the intersection and stop and get out the car and see if it's red on the other side. That's faith.
When you're working for someone,
You go fill out an application. They tell you, say, hey man, look, come work for me. Start in 2 weeks. You go to work for 2 weeks without a paycheck because you have faith that they're going to pay you at some point.
In 2 weeks, you'll get paid.
That's faith. You get on an elevator. You know when the last time the elevator been serviced? No, you go have surgery from a doctor. Do you know if he's had any malpractice lawsuits or not?
When the last time
You don't even check. You go to a restaurant and sit down and eat food. You order people bring you food. You have faith that they're not going to do something adverse to your
and you
food. And
expecting whatever it is that you ordered, that's what you're going to
there's
get.
an expectation.
Mm.
But then when it comes to the infinite, then we got to have all this evidence before we can accept it as ultimate power.
Mm.
God's got to show me, reveal to me, prove to me that you are the supreme being. The only reason that you think that silly kind of way is because you got more faith in the ways of man.
When really all you got to do is pay attention to your
You got to pay
surroundings,
attention to
and
your
it's
surroundings.
undeniable.
It's undeniable that there's an infinite power that
Mm.
supersedes our intellect. There is an infinite supreme power that supersedes, overrides our intellect. It's simple. Yeah, that doesn't mean you don't stop going to work. That doesn't mean you don't pay your bills. That don't mean you don't keep good credit. That's not what that means. But your ultimate faith is not in a monetary system, because we all know monetary systems fail. They have always failed. Go look at the ruins of civilizations that existed for thousands of years. What do you find? You find ruins of advanced civilizations that no longer exist. So what make you think these civilizations that we built and have so much trust in are everlasting? They
That-
come and go.
That's because we believe on doing the same thing over and over and over again, but eventually we'll get a different result. I think that's what we believe in.
We believe in what we can visually see. If we cannot see it, if we cannot touch it, if we cannot taste it, if we cannot smell it, if we cannot hear it, it does not exist. But our senses are limited. There is a reality that exists beyond our senses. When you go to sleep at night, what are your senses? They sleep, they rest, they power off. It's a whole reality going on while you sleep. In fact, it's a whole reality. I'm in a room. There's a whole reality going on outside this room. I can't see beyond that wall. But because you can't touch something or experience something with your senses, that's a very limited way to see reality. But unfortunately, most of us see the power of God in that limited way. That's why we believe circumstances, situations in our lives are beyond the power and influence of the infinite. We don't believe God has the power and ability to affect, to aid, to assist. In other words, if I have monetary problems, I got financial problems for whatever reason, maybe you bad with your finances, maybe you never had any money, maybe you got spending habits, whatever it is, you believe your circumstances, situation are beyond the influence and power of the infinite. So you run and give all these other people your money to help you get out of these situations, and then 6 months later, 2 years later, you're back in the same situation again. Because you've not surrendered your life, you have not asked the infinite to guide that which it created. You are here only because of the power, the will of the infinite. The infinite knows what you need. The infinite knows how to navigate you from point A to point B. The infinite knows what's best for you. The infinite knows these things before you or anybody in your surroundings or your environment is aware of those things. So all of your solutions or all the things that you're trying to solve your problems, they're limited at best. That's why they only last momentarily. And then the vast majority of human beings are right back where we were before because they're not designed. Caesar never designed his world to have true solutions. He designed this system to have temporary solutions only to bring you back to where you were, start the process all over again. In other words, to give him your money all over again, to reel you in all over again. That's why all this stuff is temporary, and it works temporarily.
That sounds like slavery to me.
Well, I wasn't gonna call it that, but I didn't want to be so direct because a lot of people don't like the idea
Well, pardon me, sir.
of being a
Pardon me.
slave. You tell people, you're a slave.
I like to speak my mind.
Well,
Sorry.
okay, I got you.
So, Neil,
Right.
number one, thank you for your time, man. This is some great information.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Last question for you though, before I let you go.
Mm-hmm.
If we are truly God,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we know this?
You do. You just don't accept the answer. In other words, what I'm saying, the infinite is constantly conveying itself to you, that you are the infinite. You heard it, you sense it, you feel it, but you're afraid of it. and you're not listening.
And when not accepting it too, I would
Well,
add.
if you're not listening, you can't accept it.
True.
And if you're afraid of it, you won't accept it.
Mhm.
So you intuitively know. A lot of people hear this interview and they'll listen to what I'm saying and they'll be like, well, some of that stuff may sound okay, some of it may sound far-fetched, some of it sound like BS, but let me go ask the infinite. No, I'm not going to ask God, I'm going to ask the infinite. Reveal thyself to me. Show me your power and your presence here now in me. And be sincere and wait for the answer and see what happens. I guarantee you something incredibly amazing will happen. But there has to be a willingness on your part to do that.
How can you be reached if anyone has a specific question or just want to chat with you? How can you be reached?
There is a link, click on the link, and it will give information to contact me. I look forward to any comments.